Good morning. I'm Gary DeWaal, and this is Bridging the Week for December 9th to 13th, and today is December 16th, 2019. The New York Department of Financial Services proposed to adopt a self-certification regime for the approval of new digital coins by licensed virtual currency firms, similar to a process utilized by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission for new products by registered markets. Some fine-tuning is likely required, but this is a welcome, principles-based measure that puts the burden on licensees in the first instance to develop robust procedures to evaluate new virtual currencies. Separately, ICE Futures US proposed to require certain core elements of a mandatory program of supervision by all firms accessing its markets, whether registered with the CFTC or not, or whether a member of IFIS or not. I was in London last week visiting clients and enjoying the sounds and sights of the holiday season, and quickly rushed home to finally see the big lighted tree in Rockefeller Center. So I can continue my enjoyment of this time of year. Let's get started. The New York Department of Financial Services proposed a simplified process to allow licensed virtual currency firms, i.e. those holding BIT licenses or trust charters, to more easily transact in virtual currencies approved for other licensees or never before approved. As proposed, DFS will maintain a list on its website of all virtual currencies approved for transactions by licensed firms. Any licensee may transact in these digital assets upon notice to DFS, provided such cryptocurrencies have not been subject to any modification, division, or change after their posting on DFS's website. Virtual currencies proposed for initial inclusion are Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ether, Ether Classic, Litecoin, Ripple, Paxos Standard, and Gemini Dollar. A licensee desiring to transact in new digital coins would first have to adopt a coin listing or adoption policy that would outline all steps the firm would take to review and approve potential new virtual currencies not listed on DFS's website. After having its policy approved by DFS, the licensee would be able to self-certify any new virtual currency without the agency's prior approval. Virtual currency listing policies should be designed in light of each firm's specific business model, operations, customers, geographies of operation, service providers, and the specific characteristics of each cryptocurrency being evaluated. DFS will accept comments on this proposal through January 27, 2020. DFS's proposal echoes the long-standing authority of CFTC-designated contract markets and swap execution facilities to list new products solely by filing a self-certification with the Commission containing certain enumerated elements. For more details on the DFS proposal and the CFTC self-certification regime, check out the article version of this blog at www.bridgingtheweek.com. And finally, ICE Futures US issued a proposed amendment to an existing rule, as well as proposed guidance mandating that all firms accessing the exchange must develop, implement, and enforce supervisory systems, policies, and procedures reasonably designed to effectuate compliance with exchange rules. These measures are not intended to be one-size-fits-all, but rather based on the quote-unquote nature and size of the firm's activities on IFIS. Moreover, in addition to taking steps regarding procedures, firms accessing IFIS are expected to periodically train staff regarding IFIS rules and rule changes, regularly monitor employees and agents for exchange rule compliance, investigate quote-unquote apparent issues, and take appropriate measures when non-compliance is identified. As an example of how different sized firms might have different acceptable procedures, ICE noted that a proprietary firm of 5 traders might conduct monitoring manually. However, a firm of 50 traders may require, quote, an automated solution, end of quote. As a general rule, IFIS noted that, quote, the expectation is that larger firms and firms acting as intermediaries will have more sophisticated and extensive resources dedicated to their supervisory program, end of quote. IFIS's amended rule and guidance are scheduled to be effective January 1st, 2020, unless the CFTC objects. These measures will apply to all persons trading on IFIS, whether registered with the CFTC or not, or members of IFIS or not. IFIS may bring disciplinary action against any firm solely for violating its supervision rule. A violation of another substantive provision is not required. Although CFTC imposes on registrants a general duty of supervision, the Commission has principally articulated its expectations of supervision through enforcement actions, and the CFTC wields, quote, failure to supervise, end of quote, very broadly and often as a standalone violation. This is generally the same practice at CME group exchanges. The National Futures Association provides a bit more guidance, however. In all cases, IFIS's new proposed requirements including IFIS's new proposed requirements, adequate supervision likely requires at least 4 principal elements, whether mandated expressly or in fact. Implementation and maintenance of relevant policy and procedures, at least annual training, monitoring and follow-up, and appropriate actions where violations. Check out the article version of Bridging the Week on the website for more details regarding the CFTC's, CME group exchanges, and NFA's requirements around supervision. Well, that's it for this week's edition of Bridging the Week. As always, there's more information in each article, and more articles on the article version of Bridging the Week on the website. You know where it is. Check it out. I'm Gary DeWaal. Have a nice week, and until the next edition of Bridging the Week, ciao.